Have you checked your bank balance lately? Or maybe you've been wondering if that extra bit of help from Centrelink is finally coming through. Well, I have some incredible news for you today, and it's something that will make a real difference in the lives of so many Australian seniors and pensioners. The government has officially confirmed a $1,000 Centrelink pension payment, and in this video, we're going to walk through everything you need to know: who qualifies, the exact dates the money will be paid, and how you can make sure you don't miss out. But before we dive deep into the details, let me pause and speak to you, heart to heart. I know that for many of you watching right now, every dollar matters. Groceries are more expensive than ever, bills keep piling up, and sometimes it feels like your pension just doesn't stretch far enough to cover the basics. That's why today's news is so important, because it's not just about money, it's about dignity, security, and a little bit of breathing room when life feels overwhelming. So, if you want to stay up to date on all the latest payment news, pension updates, and financial support available for seniors, please take a quick second right now to subscribe to this channel and hit that notification bell. That way, you'll never miss an important update that could put money directly in your pocket or help you plan better for the future. Now you might be wondering, why is this $1,000 payment such a big deal? The answer is simple. It's a direct lifeline at a time when many households are struggling. Inflation has been pushing up the cost of everything: electricity, fuel, rent, medical costs, even the basics like bread and milk. For seniors who are often on fixed incomes, these increases aren't just frustrating, they're crushing. The pension system in Australia is designed to help, but let's be honest, it often barely covers the essentials. That's why one-off payments like this $1,000 boost can make such a meaningful difference. It might mean the ability to pay off a large electricity bill, finally fix that broken fridge, buy a few extra healthy groceries, or even just have the peace of mind that you won't run short before the next pension deposit arrives. And let's not forget the emotional side of this. For many pensioners, financial struggles aren't just about the numbers in the bank account. They're about the stress that comes with uncertainty. Stress about whether you'll be able to keep the lights on, stress about whether you can afford your medications, stress about being a burden on family members. This payment is a recognition from the government that people need support, and it's a chance to breathe easier, even if just for a while. So here's what's been confirmed. The Australian government, through Centrelink, is rolling out a $1,000 pension payment as part of its ongoing support measures for older Australians. This payment is in addition to your regular pension. That means you don't have to worry about losing your current entitlements. It's a one-off boost designed specifically to provide relief during this tough economic period. The announcement was made after months of pressure from advocacy groups and seniors organisations who argued that older Australians were being left behind while costs of living skyrocketed. The government finally listened and confirmed this payment to acknowledge the unique challenges seniors face. What makes this announcement even more significant is that it isn't just empty words. It comes with real timelines and clear criteria, which we're going to break down in detail so you know exactly what to expect. All right, let's answer the biggest question on everyone's mind: who actually qualifies for this money? The $1,000 Centrelink pension payment will be delivered to those currently receiving the age pension. If you are already on the age pension through Centrelink, you are automatically included. No need to apply separately, no forms to fill in, and no hoops to jump through. The government has confirmed that the payment will be processed through the same system that already delivers your pension. In addition, certain other groups tied to pension-related benefits may also qualify. For example, people on the disability support pension or carer payment could also be eligible, depending on their specific situation. This is where it gets important to check the details with Centrelink, but the vast majority of age pension recipients will absolutely be covered. It's also worth noting that this payment is not means tested in the way your regular pension is. That means even if you're getting a part pension due to your income or assets, you're still entitled to the full $1,000 boost. This is designed to be fair, simple, and automatic, because the last thing seniors need is more complicated paperwork. Now, let's get to the part you've been waiting for, the exact dates. According to the government's official schedule, payments will begin rolling out next month, starting on the first Tuesday of the fortnightly pension cycle. For many pensioners, that means the payment will arrive in your bank account within the first 2 weeks of the month. The government has confirmed that all eligible recipients will receive their $1,000 no later than the end of the month. So, if you don't see it in your account immediately on the first pension payment date, don't panic. It could arrive later in the cycle, but every eligible person will get it before the month ends. Centrelink has also said that payments will be deposited directly into your bank account, just like your normal pension. There will be no checks, no vouchers, and no separate collection process. It's all automatic and designed to be as smooth as possible. One of the best things about this payment is how simple the process will be. You don't have to call anyone, fill out long forms, or line up at Centrelink offices. Instead, the $1,000 payment will be delivered directly into your bank account, just like your normal pension. This means that if you usually get your age pension on a Tuesday, the $1,000 bonus will land on the same day, alongside your usual payment or within that same cycle. For some, it may even appear as a separate transaction, but it will always come through the same safe and trusted Centrelink system. Now let me give you a practical example. Imagine your regular fortnightly pension is deposited on the 14th of the month. If that date is included in the rollout schedule, you'll likely see the extra $1,000 appear on that same day or within a couple of business days. If you're on the later end of the cycle, you'll still receive it by the end of the month. No one will miss out. This smooth, automatic process has been designed because the government understands how stressful paperwork can be. Too often, seniors are asked to navigate complex websites, confusing forms, and long wait times on the phone. With this payment, there's none of that. It's fast, direct, and designed to bring you relief as quickly as possible. Now, this is a question I know many of you are wondering. Will this $1,000 affect my other benefits or reduce future payments? The good news is, no, it won't. This payment is a one-off supplement, meaning it's not considered part of your ongoing income when it comes to things like pension rate calculations, rent assistance, or energy supplements. It won't reduce your eligibility for any other benefits, and it won't have tax consequences for most pensioners. The government has been very clear that this money is being provided as a standalone payment. Think of it as a top-up, not a replacement. Your regular fortnightly pension will continue exactly as it always has, with no changes to your schedule or amount. This is really important because in the past, there has been confusion around whether extra payments might cut into existing entitlements. In this case, you can rest easy. Your pension is safe, your benefits remain untouched, and this $1,000 is simply extra support for you. So why is the government giving this payment now, and not earlier or later? The answer comes down to two key factors: the cost of living crisis and political pressure. Over the past year, the prices of everyday essentials have risen sharply. Seniors advocacy groups have been very vocal, warning that many older Australians are being forced to choose between heating and eating, or between paying rent and buying medicine. These groups argued that without immediate relief, too many pensioners would fall through the cracks. At the same time, the government has been under increasing political pressure. With elections on the horizon and growing frustration from the public, leaders knew they had to act. The $1,000 payment is both a response to genuine need and a signal to the public that the government is listening. I'll be here to walk you through every step, from payment dates to new policy changes, so you don't have to dig through confusing government websites or spend hours waiting on hold. Think of this channel as your shortcut to the facts that matter most to you and your family. While the $1,000 Centrelink payment is a wonderful boost and will help many households right now, we also need to talk about the bigger picture. Because let's be honest, one-off payments are helpful, but they don't solve the underlying challenge that many seniors face. The pension simply doesn't always keep up with the real cost of living. Think about it. Over the past year, groceries, fuel, electricity and rent have all gone up by significant amounts. For seniors who live on a fixed income, those price rises hit harder than for anyone else. If your pension stays roughly the same, but your expenses climb month after month, it's like trying to walk up an escalator that's moving down. You're constantly struggling to keep up. That's why advocacy groups are pushing not just for one-off support payments, but for structural changes to the pension system. They argue that pensions should rise in line with real-world costs, not just economic forecasts. Because the truth is, no one should have to choose between heating their home and buying groceries in a wealthy country like Australia. So, while this $1,000 payment is a blessing, it also highlights the urgent need for ongoing solutions. Many seniors are calling for fairer pension indexation, higher base rates, and better access to housing and healthcare support. The government has promised to review these issues. But until long-term reform happens, many older Australians will continue to feel financial pressure. Now this brings us to a really important point. Could there be more payments like this in the future? The short answer is, yes, it's very possible. Governments often use one-off payments as a way to respond quickly to immediate financial hardship. And, let's not forget, political leaders are always listening to public opinion, especially in the lead-up to elections. In recent years, we've seen similar payments rolled out to support seniors, carers, and people with disabilities. Sometimes they were framed as cost of living relief, other times as stimulus payments. The pattern suggests that when times are tough, the government is more willing to step in with direct cash support. Some experts are even predicting that this $1,000 could be the first of several boosts over the next year, particularly if inflation remains high or if new budget announcements bring in further support for seniors. That's why staying informed is so crucial. The payments we're talking about today are confirmed, but future announcements can come suddenly. By knowing what's happening as soon as it's announced, you can prepare, plan your budget, and make the most of every bit of support that's available. Let's talk about something very practical: how to make this $1,000 go as far as possible. For many people, the temptation is to spend a lump sum quickly, and while treating yourself is absolutely okay, because you deserve it, it's also smart to think carefully about where this money can bring the most relief. Start by looking at your most pressing needs. Do you have overdue bills hanging over your head? Clearing those first might give you the greatest peace of mind. Or maybe you've been skipping certain groceries or medications because of tight budgets. Using this payment to catch up on essentials is often the wisest move. Another great idea is to set a small portion aside as an emergency cushion. Life can throw surprises our way, whether it's a car repair, a medical cost, or even something simple like a broken appliance. Having a little buffer set aside can make those stressful moments much easier to manage. And remember, you don't need to use all $1,000 at once. Even splitting it into small amounts for groceries, utilities and personal needs over a couple of months can stretch its value. One of the most powerful things you can do is write down a simple spending plan. Nothing complicated, just a clear list of what you'd like this payment to cover. That way, you can stay in control and avoid watching the money disappear without realizing where it went. Now, let's pause for a moment and talk about something deeper: the emotional side of financial security. Because money isn't just about paying bills, it's about how we feel when we know we're secure. For many seniors, the constant stress of making ends meet can take a toll on mental health. Worrying about whether you can afford rent or medicine is exhausting. It can cause sleepless nights, anxiety, and even depression. That's why payments like this aren't just about dollars and cents. They're about dignity. They're about being able to breathe a little easier, knowing you don't have to struggle quite as hard this month. Financial stress is also deeply connected to social connection. When money is tight, people sometimes avoid social activities because they don't want to spend extra on travel, meals, or small outings. This can lead to isolation, which is already a challenge for many seniors. But when you feel more financially secure, even temporarily, it opens the door to connection and joy again. So, when you hear about this $1,000 payment, don't just think of it as a transaction. Think of it as a small but meaningful step toward peace of mind, stability, and the chance to live with a bit more comfort. It's worth noting that this payment didn't just appear out of nowhere. Advocacy groups for seniors have been working tirelessly to push for better financial support. Organisations like National Seniors Australia and the Council on the Ageing have been raising their voices, publishing reports, and speaking directly to politicians about the struggles older Australians face.